People talk about bipolar episodes while they're happening. The mania, the depression, the chaos, but almost no one talks about what comes after. The part where the storm passes, and you're the one left standing there looking at everything it touched. Today I want to talk about the aftermath of a bipolar episode. The quiet part that comes after the chaos. Bipolar episodes don't always end in a dramatic way. Sometimes they slowly fade. And sometimes you just wake up one day and realize that the intensity has lifted and things feel different. But the end of an episode doesn't mean everything is suddenly just back to normal. Often what comes next is exhaustion. Your body is tired, your mind feels drained, your nervous system has been running at full speed for days or even weeks. It can feel like running a marathon inside your own brain. Sometimes I try to explain it this way. Have you ever seen someone have a seizure? When the seizure ends, their body is completely exhausted. The brain has been firing and working so intensely that afterwards the body just needs time to recover. Sometimes that exhaustion can last for hours, sometimes even days. And for some people living with bipolar disorder, the aftermath of an episode can feel very similar. Your brain and nervous system have been operating at such an intense level that when the storm finally settles, your body reacts with deep fatigue. It isn't laziness. It isn't weakness. It's your brain and your body trying to recover from the storm. And then comes the moment many people living with bipolar know all too well. The moment when clarity returns. You start replaying things in your mind, conversations, decisions, things that you said, things that you did. Your mind starts walking back through the storm. And sometimes you remember things clearly. Sometimes pieces come back slowly. Little moments that suddenly make you pause and think. And as those memories come back, you might start asking yourself questions like, why did I say that? Why did I react that way? Why did that feel so real in the moment? Because during an episode, your brain can feel so certain. Your thoughts can feel powerful. Your emotions can feel justified. Your reactions can feel completely real. But when the episode settles, you're suddenly looking at those same moments from a completely different place. And that shift can be incredibly difficult to sit with. Sometimes it brings embarrassment, sometimes regret, sometimes sadness. And sometimes you just sit there quietly trying to just understand how your mind can move between those two experiences. And the hardest part is that no one else was inside your mind while it was happening. No one else has felt the intensity the way you did. But afterward, you're the one sitting with those emotions and memories, the one trying to process it, the one trying to make sense of it. And another part of the aftermath can begin. There's a fear that people don't talk about very often. The fear that the episode is the only thing people will remember. That the moments when your brain was struggling the most will somehow become the way that people define you. Sometimes after an episode, you'll find yourself wondering, do people see me differently now? Do they think I'm unstable? Do they only remember the storm? Living with bipolar disorder can sometimes feel like you're trying to show the world who you really are, while hoping people don't judge you by the moments when your brain was at its most chaotic. But a person is not their worst moment. Bipolar disorder may be part of our story, but it is not the whole story. And a bipolar episode does not define who someone is. And this is where another part of the aftermath begins, the rebuilding. Because when the storm passes, life doesn't just pause and wait for you to catch up. Responsibilities are still there. People are still there. Work, family, relationships, routines, they all continue moving forward. And sometimes that can feel overwhelming. Because while the world may expect things to return to normal quickly too, your mind and your body are still trying to recover. Sometimes rebuilding means having difficult conversations, explaining what happened, apologizing for things that were said or done during the episode. Not because you're a bad person, but because bipolar episodes can sometimes push our behavior in ways that don't reflect who we truly are. Sometimes rebuilding is quieter than that. Sometimes it just means slowly returning to your routines, getting back to the small things that help bring stability, like eating regular meals, getting rest, going back to work, showing up for the people that you care about, step by step, piece by piece. Living with bipolar can sometimes mean becoming very familiar with the process of rebuilding. And the truth is, rebuilding takes a kind of strength that most people never see. But rebuilding also means something else. It means the storm did not destroy you. You are still here, still learning, still growing, and still moving forward. Somewhere in that rebuilding process, another lesson slowly begins to appear. Self-compassion. And if I'm being honest, that is not something that comes easily for me. For a long time, I didn't understand what was happening inside of my mind. I lived years of my life being told that I had depression and anxiety, trying different treatments, trying to understand why things still didn't make sense. It wasn't until I was in my 30s that I finally received the diagnosis that explained what had been happening all along: bipolar disorder. And when you finally understand what your brain has been doing for years, it can change the way you look at those storms. Because suddenly you realize something important. You weren't failing. I spent years believing I was simply just too much, when in reality my brain was trying to survive something I didn't yet understand. My brain was struggling with something real, and learning that helped me start shifting the way I spoke to myself after the storm. Instead of asking what is wrong with me, I started asking, what does my brain need right now to recover? That doesn't mean avoiding responsibility. It means recognizing that bipolar disorder is a medical condition, not a character flaw, and learning to give yourself the same compassion you would offer to someone else who was hurting. Because surviving the storm takes strength, but rebuilding afterwards takes strength too. And if you're in the aftermath of a storm right now, if you're sitting in that quiet space where everything has settled, but you are still trying to process what just happened, I want you to know something. You are not broken. Living with bipolar disorder can sometimes feel like you're constantly trying to understand your own mind, trying to rebuild, trying to make sense of moments that felt overwhelming while they were happening. But the aftermath of the storm is also where healing begins. It's where we learn more about ourselves. It's where we can practice compassion for our minds and our bodies. And it's where we remind ourselves that an episode does not define our worth. The storm may be part of the story, but it is not the whole story. And if you're rebuilding right now, slowly, quietly, piece by piece, that matters more than you realize. Because every time you stand back up after the storm, that is strength. Thank you for being here with me today. If today feels heavy, just focus on the next small step forward. And remember, there is always hope in the chaos. If this podcast resonates with you, if it helps you feel a little more understood or a little less alone, please consider supporting it. I pour everything into these episodes, my time, my heart, and my truth. And your support truly keeps it going. You can make a one-time donation or become a monthly supporter on Ko-fi. Every dollar helps cover production costs, support future episodes, and allows me to continue creating and showing up with honesty and heart. Here's the link: ko-fi.com/I am hope in the chaos. That is ko-fi.com/I am hope in the chaos. You're not just supporting a podcast, you're supporting a lifeline for me and for others who need to hear these words. I am not a licensed therapist, medical provider, or mental health professional. The experiences, stories, and insights shared in this podcast are based solely on my own personal journey and lived experiences. This content is intended only for educational, inspirational, and support purposes. It is not a substitute for professional medical or mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of a licensed mental health professional or healthcare provider regarding your mental health or medical conditions. If you are in crisis or experiencing an emergency, please contact emergency services immediately by calling 911 or reach out to the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by calling 988. You are not alone. You never were, and you never have to be. And remember, there is hope in the chaos.